Hello, everybody. Ignore my wet hair. I just had a shower. I wanted to give some updates on One Way Stay at the Gallery. I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff I've been working on. And maybe talk about some life stuff. You know, I always love a good yap session. But anyway, I'll start off with One Way Stay, the Gallery. As you guys know, I started my Ko-fi page where you can donate to become a background NPC or to donate a paper crane. You can also email me any One Way Lane fan art you'd want to add to the gallery. But for tonight, I'm going to show you guys some of the paper cranes people have donated in the paper crane gallery I'm working on. So I have the level open here. This is not complete. This is all still in development, but anyway, if you donate a paper crane to the gallery, you can leave any message in them, and we have a few paper cranes here that people have already sent in, and I'm not going to open them all here because I still want it to be kind of a bit of a surprise whenever I release the first version for everyone. But some of them have been really good. Some of these messages have been really nice, really heartfelt. Let me see what's in this one here. This one says, "Loving life is the meaning of it. Yeehaw," from Vivi. I also wanted to show you guys, let me open up here, from one of the people who donated for my first video where I asked for help. I will put a reminder here, if you're one of the people who donated for my original video where I asked for help, and you want to be added into the gallery for free, because you already donated to me, just comment below or email me or reach out to me on PayPal, whatever, and I can get you added in. But one of the people, I'm working on their edition, I'm working on their portrait and their background character, and I wanted to show the sketch that I have so far. Hold on. Here we go. Oop. I'm not shrinking myself, I'm shrinking the wrong screen. Video capture. No. Sorry, I'm doing this like I would a live stream. That's why I'm a little out of my element here. Anyway, this person, like I said, is one of the people who had donated from that first video and will be added to the gallery. And I have been drawing their OC. I'm not finished, this is just the sketch. They'll also have a full motion pixel sprite. But I just want to show it off because I thought it was really pretty. One of the reference images they sent for their OC was, is it Marina? Is that how you say her name, from Fear and Hunger? I love her design. I love her outfit. I love her hair. I'm really excited, if you can't tell. I'm really excited for One Way Stay. Also, updates, like I said, new meds have been helping a lot with my PTSD. They've been helping a lot with my BPD. I feel very level, if that makes sense. I don't know. This might sound corny to some people, but it feels like for the first time in years, I'm like home. Like I left home and I'm back. Not in the sense of with my family, but like with myself. Like, it felt like for years now, since I woke up from that coma, every emotion, good or bad, was such extremes and was so like kind of unstable that it was just, I don't know, never a good time even when it was a good time. And it just felt like I've been in a constant battle to just live. I don't know. I always used to joke that having complex post-traumatic stress is like living in Silent Hill every day. If you've played Silent Hill 2, the remake is amazing. I highly suggest you play it. I do have a physical copy of the original Silent Hill 2 PlayStation game. I do not have a PlayStation 2, sadly, to play it, but it just felt like every day of my life for 3 years was just like being in Silent Hill 2. I think if I ever made another game, like a psychological horror in the style of Silent Hill, like 3D like that, I think my personal Silent Hill setup would be in some sort of blizzard situation. After I almost froze to death, any sort of cold, it's been snowing a lot here. Any sort of cold makes me so depressed and sad and anxious and upset. I definitely think if I ever had a personal hell, like I said, it would be some sort of freezer, some sort of blizzard, some sort of barren, cold wasteland. I think moving forward, I might have little diary entry videos, like video diaries. I'm going to talk more about my life. I'm going to be open. For the longest time, I wasn't open because of fear, or I thought I was being the bigger person. But all I was really doing was being quiet and protecting people who hurt me for no reason, because that's kind of what I was just conditioned to do, because I was grown up to do that. But that does nothing for me, that does nothing for anyone except protect people who hurt me. And it took a lot of really brave friends to help me get to that point. You know, I still don't really know how to advocate for myself. I've always had, friends to do that. I know when John Doe was still in my life, we had this one moment where he had blown up on me, like sent me like 100 messages in under an hour, blown up on me. And I had shown screenshots of it to my friends to get, reassurance. What do I do? Was I in the wrong? Like, I'm really scared here. What do I do? I don't think he realized, like, I don't always know how to advocate for myself. These are the people who advocate for me. And he got really upset with me that I shared screenshots of what he was saying at me, but I'm like, you just blew up my phone with 100 hateful messages while I'm at work, one after the other. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to my support system about that. That's really scary. I'm gonna talk about John Doe more too, and my family more, and anyone who hurt me. If I can talk about the psych ward that I was stuck in, the Catholic psych ward that I was stuck in, that was abusive to me and other patients. I can talk about my family and other people who hurt me in the past, and eventually build up to even more people who hurt me in the past, like people who followed me around. I can talk about that stuff. The stuff with John Doe, I don't know, man. That one was really, really hard. I think what was so hard about the situation was back then I saw a lot of myself in that person because of their family life, mirrored a lot of my family life. And whenever we split up, it was already a really hard thing we were going through, and I thought we could go through it together. So to just be like kind of abandoned in this hard situation at the end, at least that's how it felt to me. Whenever we lost our pregnancy together, I don't know, I guess imagine if a reflection of you just kind of gave up on you, or says, I don't want to be around you, I don't want to be with you. And the way he did it, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm breaking up with you. What was really fucked up is when we reconnected, I tried to like talk to him like about it, and he didn't even remember the things he said that literally had stuck with me for years because how impactful they were. But he had said, like, the big thing that stuck with me, he was like, your life is just too much for me. Like, it's too much for me to know about all the bad things that have happened to me, or all the bad things that have happened to you. And he gave a bunch of weird, nonsensical reasons. He probably still won't even remember them. I don't know. He kept up with my channel for years. I don't know if he'll see this. I don't really care. But it was like, I'm not attracted to you anymore. I think I might be asexual or aromantic, which wasn't true, because he immediately got intimate with our friend while I was in a coma, and people didn't know if I was alive or dead. He didn't like how I would get annoyed with video games. When I was a homeless teenager, I didn't tip when I was homeless and a teenager. He didn't tip. That was one of the reasons. And my life was too messed up for him. And he couldn't handle knowing how messed up my life was. And whenever we reconnected as 22-year-olds, and I tried to tell him about that again, he didn't remember that. And it reminded me of the old adage that I had to learn, because my mom's the same way. Whenever I try to tell her about things she did to me when I was little, she never remembers them either. But they say, the axe forgets, but the tree always remembers. An axe isn't going to remember every single tree it cuts down, but that tree's going to remember the axe that cut it down. And there at the end, I did tell him that he was acting a lot like our moms, because our moms are very similar in the way that they treat us. And I think he got offended by that, but I don't think he could really see that he was. He was. I mean, when I tried to tell him about how he made me feel, and I'll never stop talking about what him and my parents did when I was 19, because that literally changed the entire course of my life. What he did to me completely changed the way I have romantic relationships with people. Completely changed what he did with our friend while I was in that coma. Completely changed and affected my trust with friendships. These are things like I'm gonna have to deal with and carry for the rest of my life. His actions. So I'm allowed to talk about them, and I will. But no, when I tried to address how he made me feel and what he did to me, he just said, I could hurt your feelings too. And he shut me down. And that is something that my mom does to me, or did to me. And I'm really scared about talking about how he's in conjunction to my mom, because I'm just now rebuilding a relationship with my mom. And I'm so scared that she will see this, and instead of listening, she will just shut me down and retaliate, just like John Doe did. And they retaliate in different ways, but they still retaliate. I also know he got really upset with me because I told him his actions reminded me of people who had abused me in the past. And he kept bringing it up. And I'm like, yeah, your actions are at the same level of theirs. You didn't do the exact same thing. I don't think he realized that. When I was 19, I had dealt with physical abuse. I had been beaten by people before. I had people do things against my will before. I've had horrible things done to me, and I was ready for the worst. But what I was not ready or prepared for was for someone to tell me that they loved me and that they cared about me, and to show that and then to betray me. I could deal with someone beating me. I could deal with someone hitting me. I could deal with someone saying the worst things imaginable to me. I could deal with someone telling me that they don't love me or they hate me. But I was never in my life ever prepared for someone to tell me that they loved me, that they saw a future with me, all these nice things, and to build me up, only then to betray me in the most heartbreaking way possible. And I'm gonna tell you something. Honestly, felt worse than anything else I dealt with in my life. Like I said, I've had people beat me, I've had people do other things to me, but something about someone coming into your life and building you up and showing you love, only to stab you in the back and betray you in the most hurtful ways possible. I mean, it just shattered me as a kid back then. It shattered me. And now I don't date. I know that sounds weird. I don't have romantic relationships. I don't engage with people physically. And it's not that I don't want those things. It's I'm genuinely that broken in that area of myself that I cannot engage with that. That is also part of my PTSD. what was so unfortunate, it was like, you can't even listen to me about the ways that you hurt me, but you want to go on this path of forgiveness, but we can't have forgiveness without understanding. And like, I can like let go and forgive you to an extent, but you also like have to address and accept and have accountability for the things that you did. It's not just, oh, we forgive each other, now it's over. It's like, no, you did like irreparable damage to me as a person that I have to deal with and unpack for the rest of my life. Like, we have to talk about it. You can't like punish me for wanting to talk about it. I don't know. Even now, like I said, it'll never leave me. And I might have a therapist on the way now. I might have found someone, and I'm very hopeful that I might be able to get a therapist soon, not 1 year from now, because of all the waiting lists. But no, I don't know. I guess for the longest time, I had defended this person to my friends and my family because I thought, well, he did save my life. And maybe I had built that up in my head to this some sort of pedestal. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm letting people have honest conversations with me about it now. And a lot of people, like, I don't think there was malicious intent behind his actions, but to some people I know that makes it worse, which has now opened this really interesting conversation where I've asked people, is something cruelty, is an action cruelty if it doesn't have intent behind it? Like, yes, it hurt me and deeply damaged me as a person, but was that cruelty if there was not intent behind it? Because I genuinely do not believe this person had malicious intent behind their actions. I think they are just so painfully unaware that they mistakenly hurt people. But like I said to a lot of the people in my life, they're like, which is worse? Like, intentionally hurting someone or being so unaware that you're unintentionally hurting someone? But both are like life-changing levels of hurt. And then whenever they come back into your life, refusing to listen to them about how you hurt them. And I will say, people already within the fandom kind of make jokes on this guy and dunk on him for the defamation stuff. I don't really want that to be like the meta or the narrative of my fandom, because whether people like it or not, One Way Lane was made for everyone, including John Doe. It was made for kids like me. It was made for kids like you. It was made for kids like him. For all of us when we were that age. And I hope maybe one day he'll play it and he'll learn some lessons from it as well. I also know, I'm someone who doesn't really believe in revenge. I deeply believe all you have to really do in life is let things play out, and time catches up to us all. The best type of revenge is to just have a happy life and live a happy life. And I know if people hurt you, they've got their own problems. That'll catch up to them and hurt them for you. You don't have to do anything in this world. You don't have to get your get back. You don't have to go out and enact harm. I don't know. I don't believe in it. There's already so much suffering and misery in this world. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. That's why I took my pain and used it as a fuel for wisdom and try to learn from it and meet other people and make art and do something better with it. I know for John Doe, there's nothing I could do in this world. There's nothing I have to do in this world because I know his brain will take care of it all for me. I know his guilt and his mind will torture him to no end more than anything that anyone else can do. Not saying that I want that either. I don't wish that upon him. I think, yeah, he needs to learn about accountability and accept that he hurt people and take accountability for that. But I think there's another step to that, which is the hardest step for anyone, and I think he's going to have to forgive himself. You know, I already forgave him. Even though I snapped and blew up on him, you know, I was very unmedicated, as we now know, on the edge of a BPD psychosis episode, very high stress point in my life. And I should not have gone off on him, and I wish I didn't. I wish I was medicated, and I wish I did have help at the time, so I could have had a more productive conversation with him back then. But he's gonna have to do the hardest part, which is to forgive yourself. When I talk about these things, and when I talk about him, and when I talk about my family, it's not to shame people. It's not to get revenge. It's not to signal people to go harm them. It's because I need to talk about my feelings and my pain. And if it hurts them to hear it, you gotta feel that hurt. Pain is the fuel to wisdom. You have to feel that pain. You have to digest it. And then you have to forgive yourself and start building a better you. So you don't do those things again. So you're not the same you who did those bad things. One-way lane is for everyone, including John Doe. Funny enough, to all the people who have already made such negative jokes, I think when the full game's out and the full story is there for them to play, they'll already find that they've shown John Doe far much more love than they without even knowing it. I'm not going to reveal how or why, but I think it'll be one of those funny little truths in the world. You know, there's always one of those funny little truths and ironies to the universe, and we all have them. We all have those deja vus. We all have those interesting, crazy moments. But I think plenty of the people who love that character and really don't like Jane Doe, or really don't like John Doe, are going to have an interesting time when the full game's done. But yeah, I would like to make that a clear point. You know, one-way lane is for everybody. One-way lane was made with the intention for being for everyone. It was made for teenage me. It's made for teenage you. It's made for adult me. It's made for adult you. It's made for teenage John Doe. It's made for adult John Doe. It's made for everybody. Because everyone has had to deal with depression or anxiety. Everyone's had to deal with feeling like they don't fit in, with feeling like they don't have a place here, or feeling lost or scared. I mean, it's just a human emotion. I don't know. That's my yap session for tonight. There'll be plenty more to come. But thank you for listening, and I hope everyone's having a good night.